Hey, welcome to our show. I want to introduce my panelists. This is Victor Hardaway. How you doing, Victor?
I'm doing very well today. Good to
and
see
the
you.
common man, Bob Marsh.
Common as ever.
Bob Marsh, we're going to put the camera on you. By the way, I have my ID here. I want to show it to you, let you know that I'm a United States citizen. As Victor, you see that, right? You guys got your ID too?
I got it.
You do know Arizona, the most comprehensive immigration law reform ever passed in America's history. They have problems with illegals crossing over, and the way they decided to address the problem was to say that, Victor, basically police have the power now. If somebody looks illegal, they can ask them for identification. Am I right, Victor?
Yeah.
If they look?
You're totally right. This law was passed, the governor signed this law last Friday, and it basically says that if a police is suspicious that someone is an illegal alien, he or she can ask for identification. If that person doesn't have identification, they can be detained. This is a wacky law. The president called it misguided. I think this is a slippery slope. It's a sad day in America when a state puts so much power into law enforcement hands, because given the nature of this country, we've had and still have racial profiling, which goes on by the police.
Well, who should be enforcing the laws if not the police? The police are the people who are tasked with enforcing the law.
But how can,
and if they're here illegally, who else would be enforcing that besides the police? They're the ones that take care of it.
Yes, I understand. I agree. That's not the question. The point of the matter is that people are challenging this as unconstitutional. It is. How can you just look at somebody and say and assume that they're an illegal alien? Even when the governor signed the bill in her press conference after the bill signing, she said she could not look at someone and tell who was an illegal alien. So what does an illegal alien look like? Does he or she have to have brown skin, or will everyone be considered illegal aliens? People who come from Europe, Ukraine, Scandinavia.
Victor, hold on. Here's my
thing.
See somebody who's doing something maybe illegal, they should have the right to search them.
But
I mean, and ask them for their identification. Let's not give it like they did in the 60s and the 50s and the 40s and the 30s and the 20s.
You're mistaken. The bill did not say that. It did not say if someone acts suspicious, even if you look suspicious.
Okay.
Even if they look like that. How can you tell just by looking at
I think that word "look" has been blown out of context.
But it says "look," so they need to go and fix the word, right? If we can't decipher what "look" means, how will the police have discretion onto what "look" means?
Look, they have problems along the border. We will admit that.
Right.
So if somebody looks suspicious in Arizona, right, and the cop pulls them over to the side and says, "Hey, you have any ID?"
Right.
And they have a card, and they let them go. Who cares? What's the big deal?
But again, we're getting back to look suspicious. If I'm driving down the freeway, the expressway, doing the speed limit, minding my own business, any police can stop me and say, "Well, you look suspicious."
No, see, that's wrong. They got to have probable cause, and even they have to have some type of probable cause.
But if they go to court, of course they're going to be the policeman. He can always say, "I had probable cause."
So you don't trust law?
No, I do not trust law
That's what
enforcement.
we're
No
coming
more
to
than I
now.
trust you.
The same thing in Arizona. Where do we trust law enforcement officers?
They are humans just like we are. They just have a job to do. Most of these people are, the overwhelming majority, I believe, are law enforcers because they love to help people. They want to see their communities better. But some people just out there to have a job. Because
I agree with you. The Arizona law is clearly racist, it's discriminatory,
Yes.
and it defeats everything that the Constitution stands for, including being treated equal in the law. The problem is, what do we do with all these illegal immigrants that are coming into this country, Bob Marsh? What do we do, Bob Marsh? Are you ready to give them a road to citizenship? Do you want to send them back? Do you want to give them work permits, at least document them so we know they're here? I mean, we have an immigration problem in Texas, in New Mexico, in Arizona, in California, right?
Right.
They're taking jobs away. There's a history, Victor, as you pointed out, in this country. But I don't think there's ever been the mass amount of individuals we have here in this country illegally. They're coming for jobs, of course, right? Are they all coming for jobs?
But they're not taking American jobs.
What do you mean? You
course
just said
they
that.
are.
It said they are.
I did not say that.
No, Bob Marsh,
He
the
said
common
that.
man.
But how many people in Statesboro now who's unemployed will not go pick up cans and sell them, will not dig dishes, will not clean bathrooms because they're too lazy? These people are doing things that some Americans refuse to do.
Are they too
Even
lazy, or are they paying them,
unemployed.
or are they paying the illegals cheaper to do it?
But money, $1 is better than $0. So we can't say that these illegals are coming here taking American jobs, because most unemployed people in America won't even do those jobs.
Oh, I don't buy that at all. You watch television, and what's on all these reality shows, the deadliest catch, people risk their lives.
But those people
And
making
they're not,
bukus of money.
they're not making, well,
60, 70,000, yes. Those crab people, they're making more than
loggers, truck drivers.
truck drivers make good money.
Well, then I guess
$6.50
then you have to pay a little more.
You
That's
do.
the reason. That's the reason we have minimum wage laws, is so that everybody can have a standard of living
Right.
that's adequate. And yet, then you say, well, we have a minimum wage law, we have an adequate standard of living, but oh, let's bring some other people in here to break that law.
But you can't
So
fault the influx of people. You have to fault the people who are incentivizing these people to
Well, I agree, and I think, like everything else in this country, I think that there's a deliberate path to some of this stuff, and I think we should tighten up on the laws where people hire illegals, tighten them up until, maybe in 10 years, you hire somebody that's illegal, you throw them in
How
jail.
come California, New Mexico, and Texas haven't passed laws like this? Could it be, as we have been reading, that Arizona is just a racist state? From the last state to accept the Martin Luther King holiday to now doing this? Could it be you just got a bunch of racist,
Well,
white,
could
angry
it be that
people?
somebody has to be first? And, maybe the laws are coming to Texas and New Mexico and California. Without a doubt, some of these states, and California is one of them, they've been complaining for years about how much it costs them in the school system to school the immigrants. So,
But
maybe Arizona just got some nerve up.
Well, I think, whether you call it nerves or not, I think this is, by my interpretation, any court standard unconstitutional. I think this law will be struck down. I think it takes 90 days for it to become effective anyway, so by then, they'll be challenged in court, so many lawsuits, so I don't even think it'll stand.
Even John McCain is against this.
Well, 90.
Does John McCain know anything?
No, he's against it. John McCain is on your side here. He's on your side.
No, let's go, John McCain. Now, he wrote a book calling himself the Maverick, and now that the Tea Party people is giving him, he's never been a Maverick. So he's early stage of dementia for John McCain. That's
John
what's going
McCain's on your side. He doesn't like Arizona News.
I feel sorry for the man. This is a waste. He's unfolding before American eyes.
All right,
I'd like to defend him, but I can't.
Bob Marsh,
Just can't.
Marie Marsh behind the camera. It is the 30th of April, 2010, beginning the great month of May. Cinco de Mayo, World Cup soccer coming up. Tell me, in 90 days here, maybe September 1st, what's Arizona's law, Bob Marsh? Will it be upheld or will it be overturned by the federal government?
Oh, that's a pretty good question. Wow, I don't know. I'm not so sure that it's going to be overturned, and if it is, it's just, which the Supreme Court often tells you why they're overturning it, which gives you a chance to re-vote on it in a way that it will be kept. So I think maybe that's the most likely thing, is that it'll be overturned, but we'll know exactly why, and then we'll have language that really does basically the same thing, that they might as well just approve it as it is. Because 70% of the voters went for this referendum.
The majority's not always right.
No, absolutely, the majority's not always right, but it's something apparently the people want. I want to make that other point there too, and that's if you look at, and I'm not positive about this. I guess I should go look at my 10-year-old statistics of how many Hispanics there are in Arizona. I think there's a tremendous number of them. So
legal
the
or
brown
illegal,
people are also voting.
It's about
not to bring
70%
in
white.
more
It's about
brown
70%
people.
white. That state. Oh yeah, that state's very white.
Okay, well.
What do you think, Vic?
I think this law will be overturned. It cannot stand in the books as is. After all, it's unconstitutional. So I think they'll be back to the drawing board, which now forces the federal government to act even quicker.
That law is embarrassing, guys. It's insulting to America that in the year 2010 we would have such profiling. I'm sad to say I live in a nation where a state would enact some law, especially giving police, not the most educated group of individuals in the world, the opportunity to make that decision. It needs to be overturned, and it will be.
The most rational.
Yeah, well, it will be overturned. You are watching We Are the Government.